have been begging for African Safari, an elementary piece that can be taught by rote or reading. You might be wondering, how in the world do I teach a student to play by rote? Of course, we don't want to only teach by rote. We want to teach our students to read music, but there are many benefits of rote teaching, and you can read about those on the Compose Create blog. How do you teach a student a piece by rote? There are many different ways to do this, but I thought I'd just give you a couple of thoughts and suggestions that might help. First of all, one of the reasons and one of the benefits of teaching by rote is so that we can help our students understand patterns in music and understand theory behind music and all kinds of things, help their ears to develop, help them to actually play a little bit by ear and to play by sight and play by all different kinds of senses. And so we want to utilize all of those senses. And one of the ways that you can do that is by helping them see patterns in their music. So the first thing that I would do when I'm teaching African Safari is I would teach it this really easy left-hand part. It's the same note, just repeated. So I would have them practice that heavy lion paw arm weight and get that going before they do the rest of the piece. Then what you would do is you would show them like patterns at a time. For instance, this part, similar. So you would want to group that together and say, okay, why don't you watch that again? And then see if they can copy that. You don't want to go into all kinds of explanations about the half steps and about the semitones and the flats and the sharps and whatever else there is. I think one of the things we forget as teachers is that kids do best if they experience theory first. And then we can explain that to them as the weeks go by, that theory, that abstract thing that's behind the theory. So help them experience the theory first. And so you might just have them try it, see if they can just copy you. They're copying by both sight, they're also copying a little bit by ear. So once they have that little section down, to give them a few little clues. You know, it moves down or it goes white, black, white, or something like that. Those are all kinds of fine things to actually do. And then this little transition, that's a lot of fun to cross your fingers. And so go ahead and teach that as a separate unit. And then have them put it together. Several times as they do it. That's how you would do this first little section. Teach the like units first, the patterns first, and then those little transitions I think you can tack on a little bit at the end after those like patterns are mastered. The middle section, of course, is very easy to teach. It's just A, B flat, A. So that one's obviously patterned. When you get to that little section that goes, what you want to do is have them count the number of turnarounds that they're doing. So instead of counting like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 as in beats in a measure, I would instead have them count the number of little units they have. For instance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you might give them little words like going up to, right? And then that will help them to have that little transition guideline. It will help them to have some words to actually help them through that transition. But it's important for them to count those numbers of rotations and not worry about things like counting beats, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Instead, have them just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because what we're teaching them is that is a unit, that little A, B flat, that's a unit, and then we're repeating those. We're teaching them patterns. We're teaching them how music is constructed through rote reading. So it's a really effective way of teaching, and also will enhance the way that you teach music to help your students read music by sight. So that's a little glimpse of how to teach this piece and other pieces by rote. It's very, very fun, and it will really enhance, I think, what you are doing as you're also teaching your students to read music. Purchase the music to African Safari, the cover comes with it, so you can show your students the patterns and enhance their reading through rote teaching. Get it instantly at composecreate.com.